morning. Good morning. How are you? We are together again for Kuan Yin practice today. And as every day, we start with honoring the goddess of the month in the Mount Shasta Goddess Temple. So our goddess for October is Hecate. So we're going to just take a moment to honor Hecate, the liminal one, the keeper of thresholds, she who moves in the realms of secret, she who is the light bringer, raising a torch of truth. She paves the way for our path, but she doesn't walk it for us. She lets us walk it ourselves. She's a guide, a guardian, and so we call to her. Morphos, Phosphoros, Eilethua, wild wanderer at the crossroads, bright hostess at the thresholds, bearer of twin flames, radiant bride of night, mother of darkness, guard, guide, and lead me today. I am a deer in thy wandering herd. I am a key to thy mysteries. I am a torch in thy hand. I am a footfall along thy silent path. I am a star in thy vast heavens. I am a wave in thy fathomless seas. I am a knife that cuts cleanly. I am a soul in thy holy retinue. I am a fiber in the rope of eternity. I consecrate myself to thee this day and every day, that I may travel safely within the folds of thy saffron cloak, dive with thy aid into deep mystic waters, and dance with thee amongst the shades of my benevolent ancestors. Therefore, grant me courage and constancy, guard me and guide me, and bestow upon me thy faultless and flawless perception. And the card deck that we use for the month of October is the Priestess of Light Oracle in honor of Hecate as world soul and light bringer. Power over difficulty, reclaiming your power. Potent message in this post eclipse today. This card brings you a warning that there are situations, people, or patterns in your life threatening to take over. The snake can be venomous, tempting, or even strangling. This card is an important reminder to be honest with yourself and investigate your relationships and daily activities to determine what might be harmful or dishonoring to you, or even be consuming you. If someone is bringing a toxic energy into your life, it may be necessary to let that person go, or at least reduce your exposure dramatically. If a situation seems to be suffocating you or sapping your sense of freedom and enthusiasm, it's time to rethink your motivation for remaining engaged. And if you're feeling a building resentment for a job or personal task, this card is telling you to learn how to bring more conscious joy to the experience, or even to exit it altogether. Be mindful of all your own personal patterns. Consider the causes of your own making and the results they're creating. You don't want to become the snake that eats its own tail, consuming your own life force and sabotaging your own desire to move forward. Yet always remember the indomitable strength of your inner spirit and true life force, represented here by swans, who, in spite of their gentle beauty, are very powerful creatures, capable of striking anything that attacks. You have that power as well. And this card is telling you to strike out at your own self-sabotaging patterns, to break free from any other limiting influences holding you down. Become conscious and courageous in your ongoing choices. You have the power now. And the affirmation, I release toxic people and patterns from my life. I empower myself in my choices. and in my relationships. So, well, that's actually the most like direct message of its kind that we've had from this deck. This deck is really great because it really brings a lot of positivity and loving energy into its divinations. But man, when it wants to hit home, it really does, doesn't it? Well, that's okay. That's all right. We're going to just pay a little bit of attention to this today. Really pay attention. Is there anybody in your life who is drawing energy off of you, who is building on your back, who is making their name based on you, who is extractive of your practices, your ideas, your wealth, your health, your time, your energy, your attention? Where are you feeling extracted from? You know, it feels like it's happening without you sometimes. It just feels like it's automatically getting pulled out of you in a direction. And you have to watch out for that. It's not that the person who is doing that is necessarily bad. Usually it isn't. Usually, although sometimes it can be nefarious, but I don't want to say it's never, but a lot of times they don't even know they're doing it. People are drawing from you without even know that they don't even know they're doing it. They're just drawing from wherever. And maybe you have some unsealed part of you, some part of you that you haven't properly guarded or protected. If that's the case, and there's an unsealed part of you, and you feel your life force is going out, and it doesn't feel like it's going anywhere, it doesn't feel like it's building anything, then it's time to seal that door and lock it and guard it and put a little no soliciting sign on it. We're allowed to have our boundaries. We're allowed to decide what is and isn't okay for us. We don't have to pretend to be cool, like as if we don't need anything or as if we don't have any standards, boundaries, or personal needs. The minute we start to pretend that we don't have standards, boundaries, or personal needs in favor of being cool, we give all of our power over to other people who may or may not know how to effectively steward that power. And if they don't know how to effectively steward that power, then that power is wasted and both of you end up hurt for it. So understand that protecting yourself is also protecting the other, protecting them from their entrainment with you that is of a less than savory nature, protecting them from being out of integrity unwittingly. And, I'm not into like nannying other people's stuff, but it's more like, well, if I have the power to participate or not participate in something that I know is harmful to me and another, I know what I'm going to do. It's the right thing to do. And so by saying that to yourself and holding that for yourself, you're able to then set those boundaries with kindness rather than getting worked up to the point where you have to set a boundary. If you have to get worked up and upset to the point where you set a boundary, where it's already working up in you, I mean, that can mean that you have some deep fear, some deep trauma, some things that really need to like continue to be worked on. And you can be gentle with yourself about it. But you have to notice where, if something is coming up, do you feel like you have to work up a real anger lather in order to be able to say it? Or can you get into a place in yourself where instead of getting angry in order to say the truth, you just kindly bring forward the truth in a way that is also uncompromising? It's okay to be like, that's just not for me. Thank you. It's okay to say, this hurts me and I have to really take this away and think about it. It's okay to say, I'm not able to participate fully in this. or just to say no. That's going to be our short form practice today is the word no. And our long form practice is going to be kindness at the threshold of the boundary setting, where we don't have to get ourselves worked up and upset in order to finally set the boundary. If you have to get yourself worked up and upset in order to finally set the boundary, it's gone too far already and it's already taken something from you. And then you have to think about how you and the other person have both been damaged by that. So by learning to kindly set the boundary at the first sign of what feels inappropriate in a way that still keeps you in a good nervous system regulation, and you know you're bringing forward a kindness so that neither you nor the other person will hurt each other, all of a sudden that boundary becomes so much easier to set. And you see it. You go, oh, I don't want anybody to get hurt here. And if this continues this way, I already kind of know the hurt that happens. A little wisdom of experience. So that's our short bit today, if that's what you were here for. I hope that it was helpful. Power over difficulty, the word no, good boundaries, healthy, kind recognition when something isn't for you, and release of the need to get angry in order to say the thing or set the boundary. Ready, set, go. All right, 3 prostrations before the shrine, and we'll begin Kuan Yin practice. And let's take refuge. Namo Guru Be. I take refuge in the inner teacher. Namo Buddhaye. I take refuge in the great mother of compassion. Namo Dharmaye. I take refuge in the wisdom of the ages. Namo Sanghaye. I take refuge in the community of practitioners. And let's set our intention, a person, place, situation, or circumstance that will benefit from today's practice. And today we're holding Kai, who had his pancreatic drain removed, and now he is just working to heal and seal entirely the pancreas. We are holding for Karen and all who love her, as she is on the verge of some very significant decisions about her final flowering. We are holding for all those negatively impacted by weather elements on the East Coast and in storms worldwide. Also, all of those who are victims of war. And let's recite the 4 immeasurables. May I be a source of loving kindness in this world and all worlds, bringing a generous heart to all my thoughts and doings. May I be a vehicle of compassion in this world and all worlds, ever mindful and aware of the tremendous suffering of others. May I be a brimming vessel of joy in this world and all worlds, delighting in the happiness of others as their suffering is alleviated. May I be a balance point of equanimity in this world and all worlds, seeing all as equals and all as deserving of goodness. I light this candle as a symbol of the enlightening Dharma way. May it shine brightly for the benefit of all beings. I light this incense as an offering for Kuan Yin, she who hears the cries of the world, mother of all. Om Ahum. 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 Reverently I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind and present clouds of every type of offering, actual and virtual. I confess all my destructive actions accumulated since beginningless time and rejoice in the meditation of all holy and ordinary beings. Please, Kuan Yin, remain until the end of samsaric existence and turn the wheel of Dharma for sentient beings. I dedicate my own merits and those of others to the great enlightenment. 108 recitations now of Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, calling upon Kuan Yin and asking her to pour down her nectar of compassion and shine forth the rays of light that will show us what we need to see in order to make the best decisions. Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, 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 Namo Guan Shi Yin Pusa. 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 And a brief prayer for the money reciter of Kam by Lama Gyaltse Tokme Zangpo. Lama Dankun Shiksum Nakchak Salo, Dakni Changchutni Pur Chike Bar, Gangdang Gangdu Kepa de Dang Der, Tadu Tuje Champo Jetsin Shing, Kusum Gewe Chila Chapar Sho, Jamdang Ninje Champo Kunlang Ne, Tuje Champo Duljar Gepanam, Lame Changchu Chola Go Pechir, Tuje Champo Trin Leje Par Sho. Homage to the Guru in 3 jewels. From now until I reach the essence of awakening, wherever I may be reborn in that place, may I always follow the great compassionate one and dedicate my body, speech, and mind to virtue. Inspired by loving kindness and great compassion, in order to lead all Mahakarunika's followers to supreme and unsurpassable awakening, May I carry out the great compassionate one's activity. Lama dangkun shiksum lakchatsalo, dakni changchutni porchi kebar, gangdang gangdu kepa de dang der, tadu tuje champo chetsinching, kusum gewe chila chaparsho, jamdang ningje, champo kunlang ne, tuje champo duljar gabanam, lame changchu chola go pechir, tuje champo trinleje parsho. And now 108 recitations of Om Mani Padme Hum, really acknowledging where it is that we might need to make changes in ourselves or in the world around us with our benevolent and loving actions. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 And let's give thanks for our teachers. May all of my blessed teachers enjoy long, happy, healthy, productive lives and great support for their good works. May all beings benefit from their wisdom. May they enjoy a swift and happy rebirth. And long life prayer for Lama Dechin Yeshe Wangmo. Om Sosti. Through the powerful blessings of the immortal Pema Jungye and his consort, may the three secret qualities of the Dakini of supreme bliss, Yeshe Wangmo, be utterly stable, and may the light of her activities shine on the lotus groves of the teachings and of beings so that they blossom in radiant splendor. And let's dedicate the merit. May the merit of this practice and all of my activities be of endless benefit to all beings in all realms, beginningless and continuous. May all obstacles be overcome and suffering cease at the sound of liberation. May all beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all beings have happiness and its causes. May we carry the essence of Kuan Yin in our hearts. Namo Kuan Yin Pusa. And we close with a bow to Kuan Yin, bow to one another, and a bow to the inner teacher. Wishing everyone a brilliant, wonderful, boundaried day. Be back tomorrow.